Okay, welcome back to Miss Curtis's art class. So today is a really fun lesson I have for you planned. We are going to be learning how to draw a birdhouse, as you can see in the picture here, and learning how to draw a bird. I have two different types of birds, which I'm going to show you that you can create. And then we are going to be painting in this birdhouse and drawing on our bird here. Now, if you're at home and you don't have painting supplies, you can always use crayons, color pencils, or markers to color in your birdhouse, and the same thing with your bird. But I want to show you a new way of doing this today. So that's why I have my little water cup here. I also have an Elmer's glue stick, a couple pieces of cut cardboard. So this gives a little bit of a raise here. You can see that it's a little bit thicker, and I'll explain why in a second. And then a pair of scissors. So a few more materials than usual, but like I said, I'll show you how we're gonna use those. So for our bird, we cut out the bird. So first we drew the bird and then cut it out. This one is, I really love this bird. It has an interesting looking tail coming off here. I did some swirled lines. And then I have an eye closed and the beak is open, so it looks like it may be singing or chirping. And then this bird over here, eyes are open, mouth is closed. So two different versions, right? And then what I did with this bird is I actually cut out a few pieces of cardboard and I just glued one down so far. And what I'm going to do at the end, after I'm finished painting in the birdhouse, I am simply going to glue the bird right to the birdhouse so that it looks like it's sitting on this little perch. And if I put even a couple more pieces, if I glue a couple more onto the back, it will really look like it's popping out of this picture, which is my goal. Okay, so first things first, let's learn how to draw this birdhouse. All right, so you are going to want a pencil, pen, or a marker, whatever you have is fine. I always recommend pencil. Like I've said before, you can erase it if you make a mistake. And the first thing we're going to do is make our frame. So I am going to hold my paper tight, pull my marker down, draw the straightest, neatest line that I can, and I'm going to do this on all four sides of my paper. Take your time with this. I'm going a little bit quick. Okay, so you're gonna want your paper vertical, just like so. So the longer side is going this way. And at the bottom right of my paper, I'm going to write my first and last name, so Miss Curtis, and your homeroom number, so 220. I'll just put 220. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we are going to draw the roof. Now you want this birdhouse to take up the majority of the paper. Okay, so I'm gonna have the roof towards the top and I'm gonna show you how to do that right now. The top of the roof is going to be an upside down V shape, almost like the top of a mountain. So I'm going to hold my paper still, and again, if you make a mistake, you can always erase it, especially if you are using pencil. So I'm gonna start over here, leave a little bit of space here. And you want the point of the middle of the top of the roof to be somewhere towards the middle of the paper, right? Just try your best to get it there. So it's a diagonal line that's going up towards the middle top of the paper, leaving again some space. You don't want the roof to hit the top of the frame. And then you're simply gonna come down on the other side. Try to make it as symmetrical as possible. So symmetrical means the same on both sides. So where this line started, this one's going to end. If I kind of took my finger and went across, it should be somewhere similar. All right, then I am going to do a shorter diagonal line going down like this, and I'll do the same on the other side, angling in. So they're angling in. I'm sure you can guess what the next step is. So for our roof, we are now going to do another upside down V shape and this is going to connect and create our roof. So let's give that a shot now. Try and keep your lines parallel. So parallel means two lines that are running together in the same direction. Okay, and then coming down and connect. Okay, again, if you make a mistake, erase, just try again. All right, the next step is we are going to start to make the body of this birdhouse. So I am going to draw a straight line coming down and another straight line coming down over here. Now the roof is going to overhang a little bit. That means that this section is going to be further out than the line coming down. So I am going to start right about here and make a straight line coming down. And I want this to be in the middle section of the paper, not too far down because we have to make our post. Same with the other side. Keeping it as symmetrical as possible. You're just gonna kind of eyeball it so that it ends close to the same spot. Notice I made this kind of a little far, so I'm just gonna cover that. Okay, so there we go. And then the next step is to draw a straight line across. And there we have the birdhouse, the main structure of it. The next step is going to be to make the base and then the post. So this base that the birdhouse is sitting on is going to be a line that comes straight out. We're gonna go down, and this just comes out about an inch, and then across. And you want it to be about the same size. Up, connect, and there we have our base. This is a rectangle shape. And then we're gonna make a rectangle shape, so two straight lines coming down from the middle. So you want the post to be in the middle, because you don't want your birdhouse, if the post is over here, the birdhouse is gonna fall over, right? So you wanna think about the structure of the birdhouse. I'm gonna go straight down here and straight on the right. It looks like I kind of angled it a little bit. That's okay. And then we are going to have a circle shape so that the bird can get into the birdhouse, right? And I am going to draw a circle shape to the best of my ability. And after that, we're gonna make the perch. So the perch is two straight lines going out and a little circle on the end, and that's gonna make it look 3D. So right below the hole, we are going to draw a straight line, and I'm angling mine up a little bit. Another straight line, so two parallel lines, right? And then at the end of these, a circle shape. So our bird can sit right on this perch, just like in this picture, okay? So notice I drew these 2 times and they actually look a little bit different. This one's a little thinner of a birdhouse. This one's a little bit wider. So every time you do this, they're gonna look a little bit different, and that's fine. Okay, so now let's get to the part where we are drawing our bird. All right, so I'm gonna show you how to draw 2 different types of birds, and you can choose the bird that you want to do. If you have time and you're ahead, maybe you wanna make 2 birds, and you can definitely do that. So maybe you have a couple birds living in this birdhouse. All right, so both of these birds have a shaped body. It's like a U and then a line coming across. So I'm gonna start with the first one right here, the singing bird. So if you're interested in drawing the singing bird, it's going to be a U shape that comes across, and this line is gonna be angled. Okay, so now I'm gonna do a straight line connecting that. The next step is going to be to draw the eye, which is a U. It's a closed eye. And then another similar shape as the body, which is the wing. It's gonna be a U shape that's angled and a line coming across. The next step is let's add our beak. Now the beak is triangle shapes, and to make it open, I'm going to make a straight line going across, one that will angle in, and these are thin, and then it's going to open, so another line that's angled and one that's coming in. So there you have a beak that's opened, and it really already looks like, it does look like it's chirping or singing. The next step is going to be to add the legs. So we're just going to do 2 parallel lines that are going down, and the reason is this is easier to cut out afterwards. So you want shapes that you're going to be able to cut out and they don't disappear. So even with these swirling lines, I had to make sure that they were shapes that we could cut out. So I had to do 2 lines coming together. And then now it's time to make the tail. So we are going to make swirling lines that come out. And I did 1, but now I need to come back around. Okay, same with this one. And then 1 more. This is probably the trickiest part, so take your time with this. It is a little challenging to do that, but I'm sure you can do it. Just keep, go around and then come back around. Okay, so once you have your bird, if you wanted the singing bird, you can begin to use scissors, cut it out. You're gonna be carefully cutting around these areas. This was the hardest part to cut out. I took my time, I had to go back a couple times, and then you're gonna come around and cut this out as well. All right. Also, I think I'll put a little line here at the bottom so that you know that you should be cutting out that area too. Okay, let's work with the bird that has the eye open and closed beak. So this bird, we're gonna start with the head, and it is an upside down U shape and a line coming across. I'm going to make the eye right away, so it's a circle shape. And I'm going to fill the pupil in towards the left section of the eye, so it looks like the bird is looking this way. And then a triangle shape with a line to show that the mouth is closed. And then I'm simply going to start right here with my line where the left side of the head is, and I'm going to make a U and a straight line coming across to connect that, and there's the body. Let's make the wing right here, and that's a upside down U shape with a line across. And then for this bird, we're doing a triangle looking shape for the tail. You can make whatever, if you want to do this bird and you wanted to have swirling tail, you can do that too, it's up to you. And then simply a rectangle shape for the bottom that it stands on. And then you are going to cut these out. We are going to color these ones in, so we're not painting in these birds, okay? All right, and I'm going to simply show you how you would cut this out. So you are going to take your scissors, take your time. This part really does take time. I'm holding the paper with my opposite hand, and I'm a righty, so I'm using my right hand to cut this out. And I'm just really taking my time to go around this bird the best that I can. And sometimes too, if you have all this paper, like you've cut quite a bit, I sometimes would just cut just like that just to get rid of this piece and then keep going around. Careful you don't like cut yourself, take your time. And we're gonna save this bird. So we are going to keep the bird and wait for our painted house to be done, and then we're going to attach it. I usually would recommend coloring in the bird before you cut it out, but for this lesson right now, I just want to show you how you cut it out first. And then, like I said, we're gonna add color to both the bird house and the birds. So here we go, this is where it gets challenging. you know what, I think I'll just kind of get rid of this, like I said, this paper first. So I'm going to just cut this off. All right, so I'm going to go around the swirl. Okay, oh, now I'm in here. And taking my time. This is tricky. I'm turning the paper while I'm cutting. Ah. Oh, and that piece just fell off. And now I've got this little piece here. Make sure you don't cut. Sometimes when I'm cutting, like these extra, the little swirls over here, they might get in the way, and be careful you don't cut it. If you do, it's not the end of the world. This is a tricky lesson, so especially with these swirls. And I'm just kind of holding them. I think it works good to use the inside part of the scissors here when I'm cutting. Ooh, that's gonna fall. Okay, so one swirl is done. I'm working on the other ones. Okay, I'm gonna cut around. I think you guys get the idea of what we're doing here. Okay. And so just finish cutting out your bird. And after that, like I said, we'll color it in. And I'm gonna show you how to paint the birdhouse. And we'll move on from there. And I'm excited to see how yours come out. Okay, so now here's the fun part. We're gonna add color. So like I said, if you're at home and you don't have painting supplies, you can just use markers or crayons. I'm gonna show you how to use a paintbrush. I'm using a round paintbrush here right now. I have 3 different colors here. So I have a blue, orange, and this yellow that has some sparkles in it. So I'm kind of interested to see how this is gonna come out. I also have water, a water cup, and you can't see, but on the left side, I have paper towels to clean my brush and as I go. So we are going to focus in on painting 3 different areas. The roof and the base with the perch are gonna be the same color. The house itself is going to be a different color. So we're going to make this just like I said, one of the other colors. And then the background is gonna be a color as well. So that's 3 colors. Now for this project, I want you to paint them however you want. So if you want an orange background or a yellow background or a blue background or a purple background, whatever color you want is fine. So I'm gonna give you different options for you to paint, right? So then also, like I said, you can choose those for your house and for your roof as well. And then when it's done, if you go outside the lines a little bit, just obviously try and be as careful as you can. I'm gonna show you some tricks to paint well. But if you do, we're gonna come back over and we're gonna use either black paint or a black marker to kind of go over your lines again. All right, so today I am going to do, I'll start with the house first. So I am going to use the blue and I'm just simply dipping my brush in. This is a tempera paint, kind of like an acrylic, and you can see on my brush I've got the blue here. So I dipped in. I am holding my brush almost like a pencil. That's the best way to have the most control over it. And then I always hold my paper and I pull my brush. So it's gonna be a little difficult because I have this stand here, but I'll try my best. So I am simply taking the paint and pulling my brush, and I'm going to paint the roof, and then again the base and that stand, that little post, the same color, this blue color. It's like a teal, it's pretty. Okay, and I love the way that the paint flows. And try your best to stay in the lines. It'll make it easier when we go back after to kind of fix up the edges. So obviously if you go outside the lines, it's not the end of the world and we can definitely fix it, but Just take your time as you go. And I love painting. It's a very relaxing thing to do. So notice that it's starting to run out. Sometimes I just turn my brush and there's more paint on the other side, and then I can keep going before I dip back in. I'm interested to see the colors that you all will pick to make your birdhouse. And I love doing this project because the colors are very bright and it reminds me of springtime or summer, which is always like a very bright, warm, nice time of year. So here we go. And notice I kind of took my time towards the edges here. So I've done one layer. If you want it, when it dries, you can go back and do another layer if you feel like it needs it. Or maybe you kind of like that look where it's a little like washy, kind of like a watercolor look. So while I'm working with the blue, I'm not gonna wash my brush and then go here and paint the next color. I'm actually just gonna finish the base and the post using the same color. And that's really important because you don't wanna always be switching your brush colors. It's much easier to just kind of stick with one. And if you are sharing this paint with somebody in school or at your table, we know that we always want to be very mindful that you're washing your brush in between. We don't want to go from one color into the next. They'll get dirty. So I'm going to show you in a second how to wash your brush really well so that that does not happen, because you can ruin the paint, and we don't want to do that. Notice I'm turning my brush when I need to, pulling it, getting every edge in space, not leaving any white spots. Okay, so now here's the step I really want to show you. How do you wash and clean your brush so that you can move on to the next color? So again, I've got blue on here. This would definitely muddy up these colors. So here I have my water cup. And I'm going to take my brush and really give it a good bath here. So I'm going to scrub the bristles at the bottom of the container. Okay, so that's really important. Don't just swish it in the water. I want to hear, do you hear that noise? That means you're really scrubbing it good. Go back a few times, check, and then I'm going to just wipe the paint on the edge of this cup. So get some of the excess paint off. And now on the other side, so I have my paper towel, I'm gonna leave it down here, I'm just showing you. If I press the water on the paper towel and it comes up clear, then you know you're good to go to the next color. But you really wanna make sure that when you're dabbing this, there's no blue or orange or whatever you're working with, okay? That means that you washed it really well. Okay, so, and then I also wanna kind of dab away. I really do wanna just get as much water off as possible. We're not using watercolors today, so you don't really want a lot of water on your brush. And I am going to paint the house yellow. So again, I don't know how this color is gonna come out, we'll see. Ooh, this is pretty, I really like this. Like I said, it has some sparkles to it. So I'm gonna take my time, go around. I'm gonna go right around this perch and then the inside of it. This color, again, if I went right over the black, it probably wouldn't show, but I wanna make sure, like if you're using paints that are a little thicker, they're gonna go over your pencil lines or your marker, so be careful of that. So I'm just going right around these areas, and I am going to speed this up so that you can see how the whole picture looks when everything's painted, and I'll show you in just a bit, okay? So here we go. birdhouse is painted, and I really love the way this orange turned out. So it's still drying right now, so we would let these dry before we worked on them anymore. And then look at the glisten from that yellow. Wow. This is what I love about paint, is it is so solid. So I like coloring, I really do. But when you use paint, you can really fill in an image, and it's really beautiful. So I need to just rinse my brush from that orange. Notice how my water is getting muddied up because I'm using so many different colors. So you might need to change the water at your table, or if you're at home, just go rinse it out. You know, obviously if you're in class with me, just please raise your hand if you want to get up and do that. And that looks pretty clean. Wipe the edge here. And while our birdhouse is drying, I am going to take some time to work on the bird. And I'm gonna show you that right now. So we're gonna color in the bird. And today I am going to color in the singing bird. So I'm just gonna move this to the side. And I'm going to use marker. You can use colored pencils or crayons, depending on, you know, if we're in school, maybe I have something out for you at the table, but if you're at home, you know, choose what works best for you. So I'm going to maybe pick this pink color, green, maybe a little bit of purple, and yellow for the beak. Okay, and you can, you know, make it as colorful as you want. I sometimes, you know, put like an actual feather, glue an actual feather to the bird that I might have at home. But for now, we have just cut out these swirls. So, and if we're at school, obviously take one at a time of a marker. Don't put them all in front of you because we're sharing, right? And then when you're done, please put it back. So I'm going to color in the beak yellow. And maybe I'll do the body of the bird green. Take your time. So what I did is I actually put the, glued that little piece of cardboard to the back so I could show you. I would normally not have you do that before you colored it in because it's a little more difficult right now for me to color in this bird because it has that on the back of it, but that's okay. So try and pick a solid color for your bird's body, and then you can choose, but you can choose whatever colors you want for, again, the tail, and so on and so forth. Birds usually have a nice yellow beak. Could be orange. Going around the wing, I think I'm gonna color the wing a different color. I hope you guys can see this on the screen. I'm gonna move these paints over. Take your time, color it in fully, please. Meaning leaving no white spaces. I'll show you what this bird looks like. I'm gonna speed it up a little bit here, okay? All right, so the bird is colored in. I chose different colors. This, again, what I love about this project is it's really a bright project. And now the back of this, I have my little cutout pieces of cardboard. I think I glued on one so far. I'm gonna glue on 2 more. I want my bird to be popping out of my picture. So I'm gonna glue 1 at a time. So you can cut them out however you want. Just make sure that they aren't peeking through. You just want them on the back of the bird. So I'm kind of running out of glue here, but we'll do our best. Okay, so I got 1. Stick it on, press it on really tight. And I'll work with the last one. And I just found a random cardboard that I had laying around that was not being used. It's probably gonna get thrown out. Okay, great. So the last step, once this dries, and again, my painting is actually still a little bit wet, so it might not be the best idea to do it yet. I would take the bird and glue it probably right around here. And you can see that the bird is popping out. It looks really neat, just like so. And if you did color in two birds, maybe you want to put one there. You could put, again, I didn't color this bird in yet, but if you did make two, you could put one up here, just hanging out on the top of the roof. I mean, honestly, even if it goes off the edge of the paper a little bit, it's kind of neat like that, right? Or maybe this bird is down here, standing on the base. It's up to you. So you can arrange these however you want. I just thought it's kind of neat to put them on the perch like that, right? So however you want your bird to be, and then you would glue the back of that cardboard and put it onto here. So let me lift this up just so you can see how it's popping out. That's cool, right? I love this project. So I hope that you all had fun, and I cannot wait to see your birds and your birdhouses. And remember to choose different colors. So if you have a background that's purple, if mix it up. I want you to pick 3 colors, do the roof, the base, and the post the same, the house a different color, and your background a different color. So 3 colors, and then everybody, if we put all of our birdhouses next to each other, they would look really, really neat. And again, you can color your bird in however you want. In terms of I picked green, pink, and purple. Pick what colors you'd like. I tried to pick different colors than the ones that I used in the house and in the background so that I had more of a pop here. So again, can't wait to see what you did, and I look forward to working with you next class.